Well, I'm here with Ava, and I want to make sure that I have your correct pronunciation of your last name, which is
Yes. Well,
pronounce the W there. And
yes.
um, if I remember correctly, you and I became acquainted right around the beginning of the year. I think it was January 2nd or 3rd. Would that be correct?
Yes.
And can you share with me a little bit about how you became introduced to IYM?
Through my son, he reached out through you.
Okay, so he had been
Yes.
receiving some of the communications because normally we try to reach the homeowner or the family member. And if we can't get a hold of them, we typically will reach out to the immediate family and so forth. So yeah, I remember that he had reached out to me. It was on New Year's Eve. So we were very happy to be able to help you start off the new year and get the situation under control, which my understanding is you're now going to be moving into a new home just in a couple of days, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if memory serves me correctly, you were able to use some of the ownership proceeds that we returned from the sale of the property,
Yes.
and that went towards the down payment for your home.
Yes, it did.
Okay, and did it all go to the down payment, or were you able to also utilize some of it to make your home more comfortable and welcoming for you and your
We were
family?
we have a few thousand left over from it to buy like a
Okay.
new couch or a TV, something,
I
Well,
would say
we were just gonna like save it in case we need like home improvements or home repairs.
I think that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Definitely
But we do need a new couch.
okay. So a new couch it is there. Do you have one picked out?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're gonna wait till we're actually there.
Okay. All right. One of the things I always like to try to start off with is I know that I had sent you a text message after your son introduced us, and you had replied back, okay, give me a call. And I guess my first question is, based upon the text that we sent you, did you feel comfortable about the information and having that first call with us?
Yes, I did, because you're very nice. You were very thorough. You made me feel comfortable with understanding what was happening.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Especially in today's world where there's so many things out there that are false or frauds,
Yes.
scams, and people just don't know how to make that determination. So that's why when we try to contact people, we initially reach out to them regarding the address of the property, regarding the individual's name, and that we discovered the opportunity or the possibility that there may be ownership proceeds. We refer to them as ownership proceeds
Okay.
because as the owner, once a property sells, which happened in your case, there was money left over after the bank was paid, the taxes were paid, and there were no additional debts, and that goes back to you. They're sometimes referred to as overages, sometimes they're referred to as excess funds, but for our purposes, IYM, which is a beneficiary and heir advocacy group, we call them ownership proceeds. So you felt comfortable, and was the paperwork really easy to understand?
Um, I had Miro, so it was like he did
Okay.
all like the hard work for me because I really am not like into the stuff that we're doing now.
Okay, but after he had reviewed it and said,
Yeah,
Mom,
but
this looks okay, you felt comfortable with that.
yes, I did. Like it was all I had to do was like sign it, so it was easy to do all that.
Okay, and you signed it electronically, right? So you didn't have to go in, you didn't have to get anything notarized or
No.
come to your home because luckily today we're able to utilize that type of technology. So whether you do it by cell phone or a computer, you can just in the convenience of your home do it, and that's what's important.
Yes, it was easy because of that.
Okay. And then, we had one of the things that we require is to do what is called a KYC, which is to know your customer, know your client. The attorney also requires that. And that's because unfortunately today, because of fraud, we have to make sure that we have the appropriate person, and we do that by having a current version of your driver's license or your state ID,
Mhm.
which you provided. And then we just ask you a couple of questions about the property to make sure that, you can identify when that property was purchased and a few personal details there.
Mhm.
And just to let you know, the reason we did that was to make sure that the person attempting to claim those funds, those proceeds, was indeed Ava Swaboni. Because it could
Mhm.
be somebody that, if they were doing it without your permission, had your driver's license, that's why it's something that we have to do right away at that time, is to
Yeah.
speak with you and have a phone call. Do you remember that call that we did initially?
Yes, I do.
And was everything comfortable during that call?
Yes, it was.
So nothing we asked you or anything that we wanted to know, and it was over pretty quickly. I think it was about 10 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fast.
Okay. And then I set things up, or we put together for you selected the law office to go ahead and contact you. And did you feel uncomfortable about being contacted by the attorney? Was there anything that at
No,
first
Mark,
were uncomfortable with?
no, Mark Turner is he's like you, a very nice man.
Okay. So
It was
everything,
nice to meet, it was nice to meet him in person and shake his hand.
excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Now, we also had another attorney involved, because you were experiencing some intimidation from the new owner. And that
Correct.
was, we don't have to mention his name, but another attorney involved that you felt very comfortable with, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and they were very responsive when needed, and if you couldn't get a hold of either Mark or the other attorney, um, you then would reach out to us, and we would always coordinate those steps to make sure that you knew what was going on and you felt that your communications were being responded to in a timely manner, correct?
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Was there anything well, let me just maybe take a moment there to provide a little background. So if I remember correctly, um, the new owner, right around December 31st, came to your property and advised that you had to be out by January 2nd.
Correct.
Okay, which was incorrect, that there wasn't, even though they had a eviction paper that they had filled out, not the time frame, and your son was able to confirm with the sheriff indeed that there was no official filing for the eviction. Okay,
Correct.
which I'm sure made you guys feel a lot better because you were being told and you believed that you had to be out after the new year.
Oh, like, yeah.
Yeah, okay, because I'm, you're looking at the paper which says eviction notice on it, and I think that one was just like a 7-day notice. And then after that, it continued, and we had arranged to have an eviction attorney work with you, but they continued to show up, and this was during winter, and threatened to turn off your power and threatened to turn off your water. And we were once again able to have the attorney at that time provide clarification that no, that wasn't going to happen. Correct?
Correct.
Right. And I'm assuming that made you feel a lot better knowing that that wasn't going to happen to you and your family in the dead of winter, which my understanding is this year it was very cold.
It was very cold, like really cold. And yes, like
Okay.
we were worried, but it made me feel much better, like having that lawyer on my side helping me.
Absolutely. Well, that's the whole thing, is that we want to make sure that you are properly represented. And that's why we arranged to have him take care of that, because ultimately, and correct me if I'm wrong, you received an eviction notice, but then we were able to get an additional, I think, 45 days for you and your family to have time to move out of your home and not be under the stress or pressure of the eviction notice, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that was something that we had to go to the court, file a stay for that motion of eviction, and then basically get you an extension based upon hardship. And you and your son are in the business of caring for people, and you give tremendously of your time and your ability. And so we felt that it was, if there was ever a hardship that was really acceptable, When you're working night and day to care for others, you need time to take care of yourself. So
Yeah.
that's what really was important to us. So I'm so glad that we could get that established for you. Um, Tell me a little bit about when we got to that point and you knew that there was no longer going to be the eviction or the new owner showing up, trying to intimidate you. How was the rest of the experience for you? Was there anything that you didn't like about working with us or working with the attorneys?
The only thing I didn't like working at the attorneys is like sometimes like they take forever to get back, but I needed to understand that that's how it just went. They're
Yeah.
not on my time. They're
Yeah,
like they're
absolutely.
on the court time.
And that's why we basically, as the organization that hires them, and one of the things that we do very differently in most cases is that we pay all of the fees and all of the costs associated with that. And that's
That was
something.
that was really nice because that was something I didn't have to worry about because you took care of all that for me, like for both of them, not just for like one or the other.
No, that's correct. So basically,
Mhm.
one of the things that we do when we can is in our paperwork, I don't know if you remember, but we'll go ahead there when we can assist the families and take care of all those amounts. Sometimes, if the amounts exceed a certain value, which was clarified in the paperwork, then we'll split the difference. But we're always doing it out of our portion, and you didn't
Yeah,
have to pay anything out of yours, correct?
I did notice that like after.
Mhm.
Yes, I did.
And we want you to not be concerned about that. The other thing is we also want people to understand that, we're not spending that portion of your funds, we're spending the portion and we have to pay the expenses through the process.
Yeah.
And the
You
other,
you you kind of like you paid all like the extra stuff I filled like.
yes, we did. We
Yes.
paid all the fees and all the
Yeah.
expenses, and we do the retaining of the attorneys and so forth. And
I mean, you found both of them. Like I didn't have to look like, and you found like within my city, like close to me in my state.
there you go. Well,
Mhm.
that's something that we try to do, is to find attorneys that are locally close to the individuals. Because let's go back for a moment and talk about when you had to go did you go in to see Mark or did you just speak with him over the phone?
Mark, I spoke with him just over the phone. The only time when I met him is when I went to receive the check.
Okay, well, that's a
But
good
all
thing
the
to
others, yeah,
receive in
all the
person,
others,
right?
yeah, yeah, yes, it was. It was all through emails and mostly talking because he was really easy. Like he would always call back in a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Like yeah, he was like quick to get back.
Well, in the process of what we do, so we communicate directly for the client in most cases, just because attorneys are by the hour. And so we will do most of the communicating. And so if you have an issue, you would reach out to us and we will say, okay, let me get on top of it. Let me reach out and I'll get
Yeah,
back to you. We always got back to you in a very timely manner, did we
yeah.
not?
Yes, yes, you guys did.
Okay. And as I had explained to you before, I know when you were having the hardships and some of the challenges with the um, landlord showing, or excuse me, the new owner showing up. I said to you, the attorneys are sometimes in court. It could be today or tomorrow, but they're aware
Yes.
of the situation, and you never felt like you were abandoned and alone.
No, no, I just needed to hear it because in my head they're only like for me until like it's done, but I needed like they're not just mine, like they
That's
whoever had
right.
it. Yeah, yes, like yes.
Yeah, they're
Like
they're
they're not
helping.
just working, they're not just for me, they have other clients.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you realized that, but
I do like I work a lot. Like I've been at my job for a long time and I'm like up around these individuals like a lot. They're like I'm around handicapped people more than sometimes like regular people. I don't get out much is what I'm trying to say. Like
well, as I mentioned, I know the type of work that you do. I guess you would refer it to as nursing or caretaking.
yeah, we're like we're called direct support professionals. We're like STNAs.
STNAs. What does that stand for, please?
State tested nursing assistants.
Okay. at the end of the day, you do what probably 2% of the population does. It's very special. And to be able to provide that kind of help, that's why when your son reached out to me and he told me what was going on, it was 12 o'clock on New Year's Eve. And as I said to him, look, I'm not an attorney. I can't tell you the statutes or basically say that this is absolute, but we've helped people. This is what our organization does. You had read our reviews. He had read our reviews. You had read our Better Business Bureau ratings. And I asked him to go ahead and contact the sheriff because they were still open, and I think it was about 3:30 in the afternoon, and he was able to provide clarification that no, on January 2nd, after the New Year's Day, you're not going to need to be out of your home. There's nothing that's showing on the book. So I think being able to give that clarity when you are unsure and it's a stressful situation on top
Yes,
of
it is.
being asked to leave your home and you don't know what's true and what's not. So I'm so
Yes.
glad we could provide that for you because I know you work really long hours.
I do. Like, we don't, like, a lot of people don't stay at my place. I don't understand why. I don't know. I
Gotcha.
enjoy it. Like,
Yeah, I can tell you
yes,
that you
I
enjoy
do.
your work, that you're passionate about it. Now, take a moment and uh, imagine if you hadn't have been put in touch with us and you were trying to go out and find an attorney to help you and deal with your job and navigate that and then deal with the courts, that would have probably been more than you could handle. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I probably would have had to miss some work.
Hmm.
Like,
If you
and I, I
had,
don't, and I don't like to miss work. You guys worked around my work schedule. Like,
absolutely.
you, like, whenever I was able to talk, you fit me in.
Thank you. Well, we
Yes.
we do that. We
If I
talk
had
to,
to, yeah, if I had to do that here, I probably would have had to miss quite a bit of work the last couple months. But with you guys, I didn't have to.
so we took care of everything.
Yes, you guys took care of everything from the start to the finish,
Okay. Tell
which
me
is like,
about, no, go ahead. We took
yeah,
care of the start to
which
the
is like,
finish.
yeah, from the start to the finish, which is like nice because I mean you're in another state,
Yeah, so
so
our
yeah.
organization is based out of the state of California. We do business in Ohio. So that's how we came across your scenario. As I said, we're a beneficiary in air advocacy, meaning that we review government records, we analyze them, and then when we come across a situation where we believe that a property has been sold or there may be a life insurance policy or different assets that have gone astray and the government has recovered them and showing on their records because we go ahead and we review their records, then we reach out to the family. And if I remember, it was probably about 4 months or 5 months of reaching out to Miro. And then he obviously felt comfortable and reached out to me, which is on average usually about 60 days to 5 or 6 months. We've had people come to us a year and a half,
Okay.
2 years later. So it's something there that you never know, but we want to make it so, as you said, that we take care of everything. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're hiring us to do is to take care of that because you have a busy life and you have children and you work nights and you work days. So I'm so glad that we were able to just relieve you of that pressure. But I really was very happy that we could get the landlord to stop intimidating you and to get you that additional 45 days because you were in your home for about 15 years, 17
17
years.
years, yeah.
Okay. So you had a lot of stuff that you needed to get rid of.
Yes.
Did that take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, two
It
months?
took about the whole like it took from the time it took a long time, a few
Okay.
months.
All right. So that extra 45 days at the end really made a difference for you.
Yeah, yes, it did, because I wasn't rushing the hurry up at the end.
Yeah, I'm so glad. And the new owners, once we got that stay for you, they never showed up again, correct?
No, they did not.
Good. I'm so pleased with that because they were being
Me
very
too.
aggressive. So
Yes,
it
yes,
gives
they
me a
were.
lot of, yeah. And that just causes a lot of stress. So I'm really, really, really very happy with that. Um,
And it's not nice to threaten people either.
it's not nice to lie to people. That's
No,
what was going on. They were not telling you the truth. I
I don't, maybe if they would have been honest or whatever, it would have went a little bit different way for them.
absolutely. At the end of the day, you can
Mhm.
understand they've purchased the home. They want to know when it was that you were going to be out. But yeah, in the dead of winter, let's just leave it at that, that you needed some protection and we were
Yeah.
able to help you have would you say you had peace of mind by doing business with us?
Yes, I would say that. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, was there anything other than the attorneys not getting back to you on your time frame? And I want to make that clear that in your situation, because normally we do the communicating with the attorneys, as I said. Um,
Yes.
we will have you reach out to us, which we normally do, but there were reasons that we had provided a channel for you to communicate with the eviction attorney. Um, was there any part of the transaction that was challenging for you or something we could have done better?
No, I think everything went smooth. Like I with you and Meryl, like it was kind of easy for me.
Okay. And you told me that you met the attorney Mark, we'll leave his last name off of it, when you had gone and picked up the check.
Correct.
Okay. And how much was the check for?
22,000, a little bit over 22,000.
When was the last time you received a check for $22,000?
I've never received a check for $22,000.
How did that feel?
It felt nice. I didn't want to like deposit. I just wanted to hold on to it.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, that is so wonderful. And
Yes.
I'm so pleased that everything is working out for you and your family. And tell me about your new home that you're going to move into this week, right?
Yeah, they said the new closing the 20 on or before the 29th of
Okay.
April.
But
So any day
is
next.
it the same size as your existing home?
It's a
Is it a little
little,
bigger?
it's a little bit smaller.
Okay, but it's
It
going
has,
to work for you and it's comfortable.
yeah, it's comfortable, like good for us. It has a nice fenced-in yard for my dogs. It's like
Oh,
move-in ready. I won't have to do anything, or we won't have to do anything.
so it's in good condition.
Yes, very good condition.
All right.
I mean, that was a long process because like we were going in the dead of winter, it was cold. Me and Meryl looked at so many houses. And then the houses when we did finally make offers, like they weren't accepted. It was just a long process. And then finally, like somebody accepted finally.
Okay.
Like
And
that was yeah, so I'm glad that's over too.
you
Well,
know,
almost over.
yeah, almost over. Well,
Almost
you're
over.
there. All the important things are there. Everything's in
Yes.
place. You had money for a down payment. You're able to, I mean, other than the new couch that you need coming up. Um, that's a scenario that I think is it 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 really doesn't get any better because a lot of
No,
times people that we reach out to, they're in a tough way. Um, and it's a situation that they're not in a good place. They're not happy
I,
about what's going on, so that we can try to give you that satisfaction. Because I don't think anybody doesn't
I
like picking
just
up a
wish
check
I just wish that like we would have answered like the postcards or the calls sooner.
from us.
Yeah, from you and then you like because I just wish we would have did it sooner. Like
Okay. Well, that's really nice to know.
yeah.
Did you read any of the postcards, or was it just Miro?
Just Miro, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like yeah, I'm
No,
sorry.
you don't need to be sorry. I was just curious because what we try to do is to just be very clear. And maybe we could take a moment. So when your house sold, uh, from the day that it sold at auction, how many calls and texts were you receiving every day?
A lot. Like I didn't even like from numbers like out of state. So when the out of state ones, I didn't want to believe them. I thought it was, a scam
Got you. Okay. And
because of
then,
it being out of state. Like because I
yeah,
didn't know what was happening really.
yeah, I know that you had mentioned that.
Yeah.
Um, and from that standpoint there, when you did receive certain calls or messages, they just seemed like it wasn't something real.
No, because they were like saying like weird stuff, like we're looking for the spouse of Eva, or like, she's deceased, and just some weird things, like, and I was just finding it hard to believe, like.
Absolutely. And I'm really glad that you brought that up, because one of the things that happens in in the type of business that IYM is in the service that we provide, one of the things that we try to be very careful about, um, is that we do the research on the situation. Because what happens is a property, whether it is sold for back taxes or it's sold because somebody has passed away for a multiple of reasons, or a mortgage, basically the amount that's left over. Sometimes there are additional debts. So there's other
Okay.
judgments, liens, they're in a bankruptcy. So just because there's money left over doesn't mean that the people are entitled to that money. And if
Okay.
you had read the cards and the messages we were sending to Miro, we say that it's possible that these funds could exist. And we would
Yeah.
like the opportunity to go ahead and verify that, there are no additional debts. And of course, first we have a conversation with you, because usually most people will know if they have back taxes, or if they have, a mortgage, or sometimes there's a second mortgage and that's not showing. But a lot of the individuals, companies, organizations that are calling don't really take the time, and they just take the sales price and what is supposedly believed to be the debt. And then they start telling you and I'm just going to use a round number, there's $50,000. And there
Okay.
could be no dollars, or there could be $10,000, but that's not really fair to you. So I'm sorry that you were receiving that, and especially you don't know what's real and what's not. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that it can be very challenging.
And then in my head, it's like, well, why didn't they just, like, why didn't they just call my work or send it to just like weird stuff? Because they
yeah.
weren't like, calling me at first. They were calling like my brother and my sister and like my mom, like, and like my nephew, like,
Mhm.
and my nephew he lives in another state. I'm like, I don't know, why are they calling him? Like, he
Gotcha.
called me. I'm like, I'm alive. I didn't die. Like, or like, he's like, they called and said you were dead, and I'm like, I'm not dead. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I didn't know what to believe, and I'm glad Miro did reach out to you.
Yes. Well, you know, normally when people have passed on, there's usually an obituary. Um, and so most organizations will take the time to look, usually when they've discovered that somebody may be 75, 80, 90 years old, the chances of them passing away. But this just goes back to, you're getting all these calls, you don't know what to believe. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we could clear the air. I think one of the things that I wanted to go over with you and just touch upon is, we had sent to you and we sent to Miro that once you become our client of ours, that we can help you manage and eventually stop all of the calls. So at this particular point, have the calls and the texts and the emails stop, or they continued?
Well, they stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, they have stopped.
Okay, because in actuality, the information won't be removed from the public record for some time. So usually about 90 days after, we'll follow up with with the department, and make sure, when first we'll check with you if you're still receiving the calls, that
Okay.
that is no longer on the public record. So if you still receive calls, emails, texts, and they probably will continue, but I'm glad to hear at this particular point, because remind me when your house did sell at auction.
I want to September, I think. I don't know offhand.
Yeah, it was September. So, okay. Well, I'm glad we could get everything taken care of. I know you're there with your family. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really
It's
appreciate
really
you
nice to
sharing.
meet you.
It's so nice to meet you. And um, if there were other people who will be watching this video, would you
I want to
recommend
say,
our services to them?
I sure would. I hope they get you personally.
Well, we'll do our best to try and
And
work
I
with
just
them.
want to
And
like If
Make
they do
them
see the video, just trust the process.
trust the process. Well,
Be
thank you so
patient.
much. I really
Yeah, be
appreciate that.
patient
Be patient
and answer your phone calls.
and answer your phone calls.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good advice, Ava. Well, best regards to you and Miro.
Thank you.
We'll be
If there's
sending it.
anything I can like help you out with in the future,
Well, I
you
tell
can.
you what, we won't bother you with that, but sometimes what we do is if somebody's skeptical, we'll say, well, you can call, of course, we have this video. So this video tells it
Okay.
all, right? Which is why
Right.
we asked you, so it really helps. But if they have a further question, which doesn't happen very often, I may say, would it be okay for this person to ask you one or two questions? So thank you so
Yes.
much. We will try not to bother you. We will be sending you and your family a nice housewarming gift, and hopefully that
Thank
can
you.
remind you of us as you now
It
move
will.
into your new home.
Thank you.
Take
You have
care.
a
It
great evening.
was a pleasure to meet you. If we can do anything, you have my number, you have my information.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Rodney.
Best to you and your family.
Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night.